Unethical Behaviors in the Workplace by Jessica, Julian, and Joanne. With increased pressures to meet unrealistic schedules and earning goals, illegal or unethical behavior has scored in the workplace. According to a nationwide survey of more than 2,300 workers by KPMG LLP, a professional service firm, more than three-fourths of the workers surveyed said they had observed unethical behaviors including deceptive sales practices, discrimination, and sexual harassment. Corporations have a responsibility to provide a safe atmosphere for their employees. They also have an ethical responsibility to the public, their consumers. The ramifications of ignoring unethical behaviors can be damaging to a company via legal proceedings and the loss of public trust. So these issues must be addressed. Hello, my name is Jessica Bradford, and I will be presenting about deceptive sales practices that happen within the workplace to the public. What are deceptive sales practices? It is defined as illegal sales of products or policies from sellers to a buyer. These sales can happen to anybody without them having the knowledge that it is happening. Deceptive sales practices can happen online through direct mail solicitations, newspapers, and advertisements. Techniques of deceptive sales practices. Deceptive sales practices can happen in 7 different ways. Door-to-door and telephone sales. When a seller comes to the door of a home or a business or contact you through the phone to sell you a product or policy. Referral sales. The seller knows to contact you because your information came to them as a referral. Advertising and the consumer. Getting the buyer's attention through flyers that give information on a product or policy. Bait and switch. Advertising a specific item, but when the buyer goes into the store to make the purchase, the salesperson talks them into buying a more expensive product or policy. Mail order sales. The buyer purchases a specific item, but receives a different item in the mail. Internet commerce is when you have to make sure when you purchase policies of products online, you enter your credit card information into a website that is secure. This is very important that the website is secure. Repairs and estimates. Review the policies for high quality items for returns, replacements, and repairs before you purchase them. Conduct research on what you are trying to do. Some will not be charged for something that's not needed. Prevention. To prevent deceptive sales practices from happening to you, you will have to verify all the information before you make your purchase. Verify the information by looking for their licenses to sell within the state. Comments left by previous customers, and if the person you are dealing with is licensed. When you are purchasing any type of product or policy, always remember to look for important information to prevent deceptive sales practices from happening to you.
My name is Joanne Napoli, and I'm here to talk about the steps corporations are taking to prevent discrimination. The concept of what workforce discrimination is must be understood before steps can be taken to prevent discrimination. Discrimination is making a distinction in favor of or against a person based on the group, class, or category they belong rather than their individual merits. Employment discrimination is discriminating based on hiring, promotion, job assignments, termination, and compensation. When most people hear of discrimination, they think of age, gender, race, religion, and sexual orientation. But other types include marital status, veteran status, disabilities, and language abilities. This chart shows the results of a study done by the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. It shows the types and increasing number of discrimination complaints made over a 14-year period. Employees who experience discrimination may confront the issue by discussing it with a manager, but most employees don't feel comfortable bringing attention to the incident for fear of retaliation. Either way, employers are responsible for providing employees with a safe workplace that is free from discrimination. Part of that is learning to recognize signs that employees have been affected so that issues can be dealt with. Under federal law, certain groups of employees are protected from discrimination. These groups are typically referred to as protected classes and currently include race, color, national origin, religion, sex, age, and disability. Some of the many potential warning signs that discrimination may be occurring are a protected class employee refuses to work with another employee or group of employees, a protected class employee asks for a transfer or resigns for no apparent reason, the employee misses work or has a drop in productivity for no apparent reason, or arguments arise between protected and non-protected class employees. Sometimes the discrimination is unintentional, which is also known as statistical discrimination. Unintentional discrimination occurs when an employer's unbiased selection methods create the differences in groups. Practices such as standardized tests and height requirements in the hiring process can often result in unintentional discrimination. However, if the differences are created by job-related or business necessity, then the differential treatment is acceptable. For example, a fire department may have a physical fitness requirement that would exclude applicants that would otherwise be qualified. Because firefighters must be physically fit in order to perform their job, this exclusion would be considered acceptable. Failure to act can cost companies in morale and turnover. The best protection against discrimination is prevention. In order to do that, distribute a discrimination policy. Clearly outline what constitutes discrimination and when disciplinary action is warranted. Conduct discrimination policy training at every level. If upper-level management is active in encouraging diversity, lower-level management will follow. Calculate monetary gains. Tie rewards and compensation to success in diversifying the company. Teach employees about each other's cultural differences, such as ethnic traditions and religious holidays. Promote equality by creating diverse work groups and departments throughout the company. Create worker councils or special interest groups, such as veterans groups, to discuss workplace experiences and suggest solutions. Listen to their feedback. And encourage communication. Make workers feel like they can tell managers about discrimination against themselves or others without the fear of retaliation. Take action when they do. Unfortunately, we don't live in a perfect world where every act of wrongdoing can be prevented. When discrimination does occur, it places you, your employees, and your organization at risk. Therefore, in addition to taking action against the offender, support must be offered to the victim. Dealing with discrimination in the workplace can be stressful, frustrating, and emotionally traumatic, especially when deciding whether or not to raise a complaint. If an employee is put in this position, it's important to know how to cope with the emotional pain and hardship they might experience. Put yourself in their position. Discrimination will likely cause you to feel angry. While your anger may be justified, it's important not to let it get the best of you or affect others around you. Use anger management strategies to channel your anger and use that energy productively. Reach out to friends and family members to talk about your experiences and offer support by recommending these steps. By doing so, you, as an employer, can show empathy for what your employee is going through.
In this section, we will discuss how corporations are handling instances where sexual harassment is harassment, especially in the workplace. Proper precautions need to be taken, and there needs to be a handler that takes care of all these issues. Displays and clear indications of what sexual harassment is needs to be available so everyone can see at any given point of the day. Without notice, how are we supposed to know? Proper precautions do need to be taken, not just a simple slap on the wrist. When one is caught in the act or is being complained upon, the accused needs to be given a stern talking to. It also needs to be documented and filed away with signatures from the accused and the accuser. That way, if it does happen again, your handler can then be like, hey, we've already written you up for this. Legal action then can be taken and brought to the police. Whether the police decide to arrest you or not is completely up to them. Depends on how severe the sexual harassment is. When one does not get arrested for sexual harassment, the work department can then sometimes either transfer you or completely be removed from the work environment. Completely and entirely depends on the situation now. Your handler of reports cannot just be any Joe Schmo. It needs to be somebody that is not biased of anybody in your work field. It has to be somebody that is totally trusted by your upper workforce. Say the CEO, accounting manager. It needs to be somebody that everyone can trust. It also needs to be somebody that the whole company feels comfortable talking to. That way, when such things as sexual harassment does happen, they have somebody they can go to and trust. Your handler also needs to know every single step and rule that needs to be taken when making these reports. That way, everything is done properly. It is very important that sexual harassment is clearly defined. For instance, it can be defined as unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, whether it be because they're giving you a raise or they just want to have fun. Something as harmless and simple as you think a slap on the butt would be, that is considered sexual harassment, especially to somebody who does not want to have their butt slapped. When flirting with a coworker, make sure they're okay with it. If not, that is also considered sexual harassment, and there can be punishments awaiting you. Make sure that the punishments in rules are posted throughout the workplace. Some of the punishments can consist of being fired, transferred, even arrested. In some very serious circumstances, you can be blacklisted in your job field. I've seen that happen before. So be careful and look out for sexual harassment. It's everywhere, and it can be as harmless as lingering over somebody's desk, talking to them for excessive amount of time, bringing them coffee every day when they don't ask for it. One might get a little creeped out by it, and they might report it. So be careful, look out, and make sure that if you are interested in somebody in the work field, they're okay with it and they accept it. That way you don't get reported and in trouble. Good luck.
Conclusions. Corporations have ethical responsibility to both their workers and their consumers. In order to stand up to that responsibility, they must first acknowledge their practices of unrealistic schedules and earning goals can actually encourage illegal or unethical behavior. By acknowledging the bad behavior, steps can be taken towards education and prevention.